Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Sorry it's a day late, but we're going to do my What Mondays with Mason episode now. Welcome to this week's edition of Mondays with Mason. I'm Mason Spesky, your host. Just a quick program note here about the next two Mondays with Mason. So obviously, yesterday was the 18th, Monday the 18th. Next Monday is Christmas Day. So most likely, the Mondays with Mason for next week will be filmed on Sunday. And most likely I'll be previewing the sports slate of games for Christmas Day. So that will be on Sunday. Next week's Mondays with Mason will be Sunday as opposed to Monday due to Christmas Day. Then the following week is New Year's. I'll probably end up doing a Mondays with Mason then because that's the college football playoff. I might preview the college football playoff and predict those games for that episode of Mondays with Mason. So hopefully that will be either Sunday or Monday. So the next two Mondays with Mason, next week will definitely be 100% on Sunday. And then it'll either be Sunday or Monday the week of New Year's. But I will try my best to get back to normal Mondays or like Tuesday mornings like this is now moving forward after that. It's just the next 2 weeks are a little bit confusing because Christmas and New Year's both fall on a Monday. So not a big deal, though. We are going to have 2 episodes for those. Anyway, though, let's get into this week's edition. And this was actually recommended at a family dinner because it was a topic we discussed, and they wanted a video on this one, and I wanted to do a video on this one. It's about why the PIAA elected to move their state football championships from Hershey Park Stadium to Cumberland Valley High School. And personally, let's take a look. People are saying, they said it was largely because of money at this dinner. And they were upset because looking at the director's salary, the director of the PIAA, according to salary.com, it looks like the assistant athletic executive director for the PIAA makes about $110,000 to $160,000 a year. So I'd assume the director of the PIAA is making about $150,000 according to that estimate, but he's making well over 6 figures, so, or well over $100,000, the more like it. So that's definitely interesting. And they were saying they were upset because they feel like those kids deserve an opportunity to play at Hershey, which I agree with them on. Hershey is a very good location. It's in the middle of the state, although it is slightly closer to Philly, but it is in the middle of the state. It's right next to the Capitol in Harrisburg, so. And the teams go to the Capitol. If you win a state championship, you get the chance to go to the Capitol and get recognized during a House or a Senate session. So it definitely makes sense if you're going to have teams go to the Capitol and do this stuff. I know it's not the same day and all that, but it makes sense to have this play it in the middle of the state nearby the Capitol, and that's what Harrisburg gives you. Or Hershey gives you. It's a nice stadium, and it's right in the middle of the Capitol. And I don't know why they don't do this more. I know they're keeping basketball and stuff at the Giant Center in Hershey, but the fact that they moved football out of Hershey to Cumberland Valley High School, and don't get me wrong, Cumberland Valley is an amazing stadium, and it's also in the middle of the state. However, that's a special experience for those kids, getting the chance to play your state championship at Hershey Park. That's a cool experience. I remember it was my junior year, cross country. I was on the top 7, and we got the chance to go to the PIAA Foundation meet in Hershey for varsity. We toured Chocolate World. We went to Chocolate Land, and we had a very nice dinner that night at a pizza restaurant, which was very good. And then we had the race the next morning. That was one of the best experiences I had in high school. And it was a PIAA Foundation meet. It wasn't even like a state championship meet. But it was still an amazing experience. Imagine if you're doing the same thing and you're competing for a state championship. That's a really good experience. So the fact that PIAA would take that experience away, I don't know why they should take that away. Let's look at KDK. I'm reading this article right now. I have this article pulled up. It's CBS KDKA News Pittsburgh. Title of it, PIAA Moving Football Championships from Hershey Park Stadium to Cumberland Valley High School by Mike Darney, KDKA TV. For at least the next 4 years, which means 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, there will be no state championships at Hershey. The PIAA announced Wednesday, the 22nd of February, that its championship games for football, soccer, and field hockey would be moving to be played at nearby Cumberland Valley High School in Mechanicsburg, which they are not far away. Mechanicsburg is just a couple of exits off the turnpike. I want to look up their distance so I can actually tell you the number. "40 minutes. Nearby?" That's not like nearby. Yes, it's within an hour, but it's not like a walk down the street. So I don't know why you're saying nearby. And when you look at it, yes, it's a beautiful stadium, but let's look and see what class Cumberland Valley High School will be in next year for football. North Penn. I'm just looking to see what class. I'm just wanting to see what class they're in, see if they're in 6A or not. Because, I mean, it's definitely interesting if you're going to play your state championships at a high school that's not 6A. Oh, they have 2,827. They have to be 6A. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, they're 6A. It's 6A. But anyway, though, it's a very nice stadium and all that. But the state champions, further down the article, the state championships have been held at Hershey Park since 1998. According to KDKA's news partners at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Manson Park in Altoona and Penn State's Beaver Stadium also submitted bids to host the title games. Why would you want to play them in Altoona? I'm not dissing Altoona. I'm not dissing Manson Park by any means. But I don't think that's the best place to play them. Beaver Stadium, that was actually one I was going to suggest. Why not Beaver Stadium? I think that would be a great place to play high school championship games. It would give them that college-like feel of playing football in a Big Ten stadium. And it would also give them the chance to explore a nice campus in Penn State. That would probably be my second best choice if you're not going to pick Hershey Park. So I don't know why they... Obviously, Cumberland Valley bid in more, but that's surprising. I mean, I thought Beaver Stadium would be a good place to play them, to be honest. It says, Bob Lombardi, the executive director, it says, "It was a very tough decision because of our loyalty to all our sites. When you have spent a long time in certain places, you develop relationships with people. But we're very satisfied with what we had." The PIAA said that outdated facilities at Hershey Park Stadium were a factor in the decision for where championship games would be played moving forward. Interesting. And this is his full quote. "Especially with some of the changes they will be making. Not only adding a new field and changing the press box, they also have an indoor service that can be used, a training room, weight room, media center, 2 artificial surfaces that can be used for walkthroughs, as well as individual locker rooms that would serve each player on each team," Lombardi said. "There were a host of things that were very attractive, along with Cumberland Valley making a nice financial package for us." Now that makes sense. But it still hurts the fact that those championships won't be at Hershey Park because of the experience. Beaver Stadium would have also provided a nice experience, but Cumberland Valley, yes, it's a beautiful high school. It is a beautiful high school. Looking at pictures. but it's not the experience. And I think their basketball arena, too, looks like the WVU Coliseum. That's a little weird. I'm just looking at pictures. It's a nice stadium, though. But it's the experience. I mean, I think those kids probably deserve the experience of Hersey if they redo it and renovate it. The scoreboard is amazing at this one. So, other than that, it's just, other than the scoreboard, it looks just like a typical high school football stadium. Don't get me wrong, it's nicer than probably the majority of high school football stadiums, but yeah, I mean, for sure. Interesting, but the other thing we talked about this dinner, too, is the fact that WPIAL 5A and 6A championships are not at Acrisure Stadium. The fact that it's only one for 4A that are there, and they have to play them at nearby Norwin High School, which is off the Turnpike. It's the Irwin exit if you're on the Turnpike. So, here's my thoughts on that. I think, though, when you look at it, I went to Hempfield, which is like right in Norwin's backyard. They're actually like right next door to each other, some points of it. When you look at stadiums in the WPIAL, Norwin has a nice football field. However, it is not the nicest. When you look at North Allegheny, that's probably the nicest stadium in the WPIAL. I personally feel like that stadium's nicer than Norwin. I really do. Not trying to diss Norwin or anything, but I just feel like North Allegheny has a nicer stadium. The complaint, though, was at this dinner, the fact that, and look at that press box, too. That's a nice press box at NA. So that's where they should probably be playing these. The fact, though, they can't play them at Acrisure. 6 games in one day is way too much. You make the argument, though, too, splitting them up into 2 weeks as opposed to 1. Next year, in 2024, the calendar lines up so you could do that. However, the calendar typically does not line up that way. Like this year, the championships were held on Black Friday. Theoretically, you could have done Friday and Saturday because Pitt was away. Pitt was at Duke. However, you're not certain the Pitt's going to be away that Saturday, and they need certainty. Because when you look at the calendar, it's a 2-year basis they set these on. So if you guys don't understand, I'm going to explain this. The PIAA every other year divides the schools in the state into classes. If you have a certain amount of boys, like if you are at the upper end of population with boys in your school, you get a higher classification. If you're at the lower end of boys, you get a lower classification. I'm just going to pick 2 random school districts. Mount Lebanon School District. They have like 800 some boys. As a result of that, they're put in class 6A, which is the highest classification you could be in. Jeanette High School has like 50 or so boys, or maybe not 50, maybe like 130. As a result, they're put in class 1A. The point of this is to divide up schools so that you're playing against schools like with the number of same people as you that are similar to you. And that you're not like a school with 900 boys that's playing a school with 200. That's the way this is supposed to work. So they have 6 classifications. And each classification's playoff system, and every 2 years they do this. When they set the schedule, they set it for the first year. So like the realignment process just took place this past fall for next year. So in 2024, each school will be getting a new classification. They will be releasing schedules for 2024 and 2025 at the same time due to the classifications not changing. So they don't know. This schedule's being created right now as we speak. They don't know if Pitt's going to have a home game that Saturday. So that's why they can't really do it on Saturdays. Because that schedule for the WPIAL will come out like January 12th. The ACC schedule comes out like January 28th. So right now, they're going to get the WPIAL schedule out while the ACC is basically still like in the process of finalizing and dotting the I's and crossing the T's for their football schedule. So I get that. This year, yes, you probably could have divided it into 2 days. And in future years, when the calendar is set for WPIAL, in future years, if Pitt is not at home the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which they typically are not, you don't have to go to Norwin High School. You could play those games at Acrisure Stadium. However, though, they have to agree to these agreements well before Pitt football schedules are released, and same with the Steelers. So I don't blame them for that. You probably have to do that, unfortunately. However, I think they should probably put those classes at like North Allegheny. I think that's close. It's closer to Pittsburgh, and it's a nicer facility. Again, not trying to put Norwin down, but I just think NA is nicer. When you look, though, at the PIAA, they probably should keep them at Hersey or Penn State, or have put them at Penn State instead of Cumberland Valley. That's my take. That's all I have for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys comment, give me your opinion on this. Interesting for sure. Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Enjoy this week. And remember, I'll see you next week, Sunday, December 24th, as an early edition of Mondays with Mason, the Christmas episode. Pray for Israel. And as always, peace. See you guys on Christmas Eve.